This is Greg Penglis for Action Radio with Founding Moments, insights into our founding documents, sponsored by Rosa Volunteers here in Santa Rosa County, Florida. Santa Rosa Volunteers is available at their website, SRV1776.com. That's SRV1776.com. Federalist Paper number 13 was written by Alexander Hamilton and published November 28, 1787. It is titled Advantage of the Union in Respect to Economy in Government. In the very first paragraph, he says, in part, as connected with the subject of revenue, we may with propriety consider that of economy. If the states are united under one government, there will be but one national civil list to support. So right from the very beginning, Hamilton characterizes the states as united under one government. This is outrageous. The whole foundation of the United States is that they are individual and independent states first, united only because they happen to be next to each other on the same piece of continent. But in every other aspect, the states are as independent countries, except for a very few areas which are to be delegated to the federal government through the Constitution that the Federalists are allegedly trying to advocate. But you can see right here why there was so much objection to the Constitution from the Anti-Federalists, who didn't mind the idea of the Constitution so much, as long as the spirit of the Constitution matched the independence and self-governance of the states declared in the Articles of Confederation. It is apparent that the Federalists wanted to unite the states as subordinate and subservient parts of the whole United States, which are united not by, but under a strong national top-down government. You can clearly see in this one sentence why the Anti-Federalists were so strongly opposed to the completely new status of the states under the Constitution as outlined in these papers by the Federalists. Then Hamilton says, the entire separation of the states into 13 unconnected sovereignties is a project too extravagant and too replete with danger to have many advocates. In other words, the United States as constituted is really too dangerous an idea, because the states can't be trusted to be independent states. They have to be controlled by the national government, lest they become a few factions, and then in Hamilton's own words, dangerous. Dangerous to whom? He and his fellow Federalists of the self-appointed elite? One could only assume so. Hamilton revives the often repeated theme that the states can't be trusted to remain independent and individual. They will, as all states have done in Europe, create various factions. Hamilton bases his arguments on this imaginary projection of how he thinks the states will group, and makes that the reason the federal government must rule the states. He groups the 13 states like this. The ideas of men who speculate upon the dismemberment of the empire seem generally turned towards 3 confederacies, one consisting of the 4 northern, another of the 4 middle, and a third of the 5 southern states. He even defeats his own argument with the admission that this is speculation. And what is this talk of us being an empire? Hamilton says, no well-informed man will suppose that the affairs of such a confederacy can be properly regulated by a government less comprehensive in its organs or institutions than that which has been proposed by the convention. In other words, if you don't agree with him, you are an idiot, because you aren't well-informed. Heard that theme from government all the time. In Hamilton's warped mind of pretty much imposing a British monarchy on the states, wrapped in flowery language, he describes the hierarchy under his Constitution. He says, civil power, properly organized and exerted, is capable of diffusing its force to a very great extent, and can, in a manner, reproduce itself in every part of a great empire by a judicious arrangement of subordinate institutions. Or, to put this in modern English, we need a government big enough to be in every state and locality with enough agencies and departments to control everything. Unfortunately, he got his wish, and here we are. Eventually, Hamilton engages in the topic for which he titled his Federalist paper, the economy. However, an analysis of the last paragraph will display an arrogance and a plan not to advance the economy for the benefit of all through free markets, where the federal government would standardize only what is necessary between the states to keep the free flow of goods and services moving, with things like consistent taxes, laws, and even train track widths. No, what Hamilton is really worried about is a free economy among the independent states, where the feds don't get their share of revenue, taxes, or control. Hamilton concludes Federalist 13 with this: if, in addition to the consideration of a plurality of civil lists, we take into view the number of persons who must necessarily be employed to guard the inland communication between the different confederacies against illicit trade, and who, in time, will infallibly spring up out of the necessities of revenue, and if we also take into view the military establishments, which it has been shown would unavoidably result from the jealousies and conflicts of the several nations into which the states would be divided, we shall clearly discover that a separation would be not less injurious to the economy than to the tranquility, commerce, revenue, and liberty of every part. The source for the Federalist Papers is federalistpapers.org. The Anti-Federalist Papers are from selfeducatedamerican.com. This is Greg Penglis for Action Radio with Founding Moments, sponsored by Santa Rosa Volunteers. Their website is SRV1776.com. That's SRV1776.com. Please share this report to anyone who needs it.